Hi, beautiful people. Welcome to the Real Talk Naomi Podcast. I am so happy about this podcast and I am super duper excited that you all are listening to the very first episode of this podcast. So I'm going to be doing a little introduction about myself. My name is Haruna Naomi and I am from Kogi State. Now, I decided to start this podcast to see if I can effectively pass across some important messages, real life stories, tips, lessons, and thoughts, and just everything that will add value to your lives. Yes, everything that will add value to your life, that will bring good value to your life. I'll be releasing new episodes every Thursdays by 6 p.m. Now, let's talk about my inspiration behind this whole podcast. Yes, I have a great inspiration behind this podcast, and my inspiration is the Holy Spirit. I hope that didn't come as a shock at all to any of you when I said the Holy Spirit is my inspiration. Yes, He is my inspiration. This podcast is just to talk about topics that are relevant to the society or things that we see in the world around us. From the Christian world to education to the culture, just everything around us that has an effect on us, everything in between, but through a Christian lens, or should I say through the lens of the Holy Spirit. But above all, we're going to look at a lot of scriptures and we are going to pray a lot in this podcast, and hopefully we show the light of Christ through every conversation we have on this podcast. Yes, that is our aim. Now, let me talk about my favorite Bible verse. For now, I think I have 3 favorite Bible verses. I'll start with one. The first one is Exodus 14:14. Yes. The Lord will fight for you, and you will hold your peace. The day I came across this particular verse, it hit me so hard, and I was like, wow. So all I just have to do is hold my peace and be quiet, and the Lord will do the work. And I think to myself, and I'd be like, who would really want to fight me? Does the person not know who is actually defending me? Because I actually see God as a defender and not just as a protector. He's my defender. So all I have to do is cross my legs, fold my hands, and just watch. Oh my God. And okay, another of my favorite Bible verse is Philippians 4:19. My good Jesus said, my God will supply all your needs, all of them, not one of them, not 2 of them. So automatically, if I have 101 needs, the Lord is going to fulfill and supply the 101 of my needs according to His riches in glory. So as long as they are my needs, He's fulfilling and supplying them. He's supplying them according to His riches in glory. Last but not the least of one of my favorite verses, Isaiah 60 verse 22. When the time is right, when the timing is in place, when the time is perfect, I, the Lord, will make it happen. So no matter what you may be facing today, no matter the tribulation, no matter the frustration, no matter the whole overthinking and everything that comes with it. Trust in God's assurance that everything would definitely fall into place in His own perfect time. I don't even have to worry about most things because I just said to myself, in God's perfect time is going to happen. I think of something, I don't have something yet. Of course, in God's perfect time, it will happen. I don't even need to stress myself about it at all. So that is all for my Bible verses, my favorite Bible verses. Now, I am just going to say something. I'm going to talk about how I got this name. So I hold this topic every day on my WhatsApp status, and it's usually about life, relationship, marriage, and I get a lot of response from it. But as at then, I hadn't really put the whole name thing to it, and I wasn't even thinking about this whole podcast thing. So I went to camp in 2022. Yeah, this is 2023. I went to camp in 2022 and I met a friend. Her name is Omonso Blessing. She also has a podcast. Yeah, my girl. And when she got to know about the whole topic thing, she met me one day and she was like, why not have a podcast and talk about these things so people can learn? And I was like, I am not convinced yet. And another thing that she didn't know was one of the greatest issue I had was the fact that I had fear for starting. I always had fear for starting. Starting is always my issue. But after starting this whole thing, I realized that the best thing you can do for yourself is actually to start. You're actually thinking of something. Look, don't think about it too much. Just start. It will align, okay? Then she told me about it since 2022, and I kept delaying. I kept giving excuses. A time came, I just didn't talk to her about it again. Then fast forward to the name thing. I was having a discussion with a friend, and the person was like, you are always so real when you talk about something. It just feels like it is real life. You're just too real to yourself. Then I looked at the name, Real. Then I looked at my name. Then I know I like to talk. I know I like to talk. So I was like, okay, Real Talk Naomi. So I talk about real things, and the whole purpose for the things is to talk. Let people hear you talk. Let people be transformed. So, and I was like, okay, Real Talk Naomi. I presented it to the Holy Spirit, and he was like, okay, I approve. And I was like, okay, we've gotten the name for our podcast. But the thing is to start the podcast. So that was why the first thing I did when I started this whole podcast, even before dropping this particular episode right now, is to talk to Omonso and tell her, hey girl, hey Christian sister, I have started a podcast and I know by now you would let me rest. And she was like, oh my God, I am so happy for you. I know you were so happy for me, baby, but it wasn't easy, and it's not still easy, but it's a task I am willing to work on and try to leave my comfort zone and overcome my fears. Yeah. And one of my major purpose for this podcast is I want it to be a place where people come to and find faith, to draw strength from when they are weak, find joy, find peace, and find healing. Above all, find God. Many are lost, and I would really want them to find their way back to God. So that would be all for this episode, and I hope you had a great time listening to our very first episode. Don't forget, we would always be dropping new episodes every Thursdays. drop your comments, drop your likes, rate us, okay? And bye.